Hello, welcome to PMP Exam Data Flows. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the data flow for project resource management. Now, a word of caution, this is a rather advanced way of looking at the PMBOK guide. It is not for beginners, so if you're looking to learn about the definitions of the processes of resource management, I advise you to search in YouTube Praizion resource management. You'll find a number of videos. A few weeks ago, I put out a video, the 1 minute summary for resource management. I advise that you watch that. And I also advise that you read chapter 9 in the PMBOK guide, 6th edition. This will be rather advanced for some. So let's start off talking about planned resource management, where we develop the resource management plan, where we also develop a team charter. There is an interrelationship between planned resource management and many other processes. Planned resource management gives you the resource management plan. That becomes an input to develop project management plan. In develop project management plan, you'll find mention being made of outputs from other processes. These outputs from other processes refers to baselines and subsidiary plans that become an input to develop project management plan. So there's a lot of interrelationship between resource management, develop project management plan, and the other processes of resource management. For example, develop project management plan, when it gets all of those subsidiary plans, it outputs the project management plan, and that becomes an input to many other processes, including those in resource management. For example, acquire resources. The project management plan is an input there. Now, you might have heard my summary about the project management plan. The project management plan, which contains all the subsidiary plans and baselines talked about on page 89 of the PMBOK Guide 6th edition, the project management plan goes to all processes except two. And I want to make this really clear so that you don't try to memorize it. Just understand the rule. The project management plan goes to all but two processes. The only two processes that it doesn't go to are develop project charter and develop project management plan. This one. So apart from this one and this one, the project management plan is an input to all the other 47 processes. So I just wanted to make that crystal clear so that you don't try to memorize this. It's just a fact. 47 of the processes use the project management plan as an input. So this should not come as a surprise. Seeing the project management plan going into a number of places, including the processes here, just like manage team. Manage team is yet another one. Manage team is a process in resource management that uses the project management plan. Also, develop team is a process in develop project management plan. Now, just to make it crystal clear what all of these are, let's circle them one by one. Acquire resources is where you acquire the physical and the human resources. Develop team is where you build the team by training and coaching and team building and mentoring, getting them to synergize. This is also where we talk about the 5 stages of team development, also known as Tuckman's ladder. Don't forget that. Manage team, this is where there's quite a bit of focus on the aspect of conflict management. That's a big topic in 9.5. This is in 9.4 in the PMBOK Guide 6th edition. So as you go through these with me, I want you to just remind yourself, okay, what happens there? What is that? As we take a look at them. Now, there's a feedback loop between develop team, where we train the team, coach the team, and manage team. And that feedback loop, as you see on the screen, it's team performance assessments. And this is where you assess the team after training And that information goes into managed team so that you can give them feedback as the project manager or whoever is leading the team. Develop team also gives change requests, and that becomes an input to perform integrated change control. Acquire resources gives project team assignments as an output and also resource calendars as an output. This goes to develop team where the team is developed. The resource calendars are relevant because we need to know when team members are available for training. As usual, you can see the project management plan also go into control resources. And the red line is just for emphasis across the multiple lines you're seeing on the screen. There's nothing fancy about project management plan going to control resources. Now, there is something important though. The difference between develop team, which deals with humans, this is where you build the team, and manage team, where you give them feedback and you help pave the way for what happens next. After training and team building, it's a constant loop of feedback that happens in managed team. But control resources has nothing to do with the humans. The control we're talking about is the physical resources. So when we talk about control resources, we are certainly not talking about humans or team members. That word is for the physical resources. Control resources. Make sure the resources are available when you said they would be or when the vendor said they would be, and make sure the resources are being used as promised. That's what we do in control resources. Next, let's talk about change requests and work performance reports that come from monitor and control project work. This right here is an integration reminder. The interrelationship between monitor and control project work and perform integrated change control. That is also important. Now, let's talk about the interrelationship between monitor and control project work and manage team. This is a rather unique relationship, and the reason why I'm stressing it is we get a similar output. In fact, it's the same one, work performance reports. Remember, we use these work performance reports to give feedback to the team to find out how the team has performed in the work performance report and to also use that along with team performance assessments to give feedback. That is exactly what happens here. So these two are very important inputs to manage team. Without these, you can't really give that solid feedback if you don't know how the team has performed after training, the reports of how well they did in a training survey or assessment. And work performance reports is the overall report that tells you how the project is proceeding. So you definitely need those for managed team. There's also a feedback loop from acquire resources to manage team. We have project team assignments. We need to know these assignments in order to give sensible, constructive feedback. There's also an interrelationship, of course, between direct to manage project work and perform integrated change control, where all change requests go. Let it be said that all change requests in the sixth edition are shown as going into one place and one place only, and that is the perform integrated change control process. So look out for that. All change requests go there as an input. Now, from perform integrated change control, you get approved change requests, but that is beyond the scope of this. Moving ahead, direct to manage project work and the process known as control resources also have interrelationships, but there's one more. In order to give feedback, we need the issue log, and that comes from direct and managed project work. There is also an interrelationship of change requests going to perform integrated change control from managed team. If there need to be any changes on the team, it will be a change request going in to perform integrated change control, theoretically speaking. Now, in the real world, this doesn't happen in strict rotation and rote fashion. Changes to the team may not necessarily have to go to the perform integrated change control process. However, theoretically speaking, as you read the PMBOK guide, follow the process, embrace the process, and understand the flow. Because there are some projects where changes to teams must go through a change control board. Every tiny change could be very sensitive on certain projects. So imagine in the world of predictive project management, there's a lot of process. This should not come as a surprise. Next, we have estimate activity resources. There's an interrelationship in that resource requirements comes from estimate activity resources and goes to acquire resources. Also, control resources gives work performance information to monitor and control project work. As I said earlier, direct and manage project work gives work performance data to control resources. This may seem like an overwhelming amount of information, but the more you listen to this and the more you watch it, the more you'll understand what PMI is really trying to put together in these process arrays. I hope this helps. In our next video, we'll take a look at communications management. All the best on your exam.